BBC Radio Devon. Well, that's a sound that so many of us are familiar with. The pealing of bells, and in this case, St Michael's in Chagford. Well, now, a plan to recruit bell ringers to commemorate the end of the First World War has got over 1,000 people signed up. The aim of Ringing Remembers is to get 1,400 new volunteers, because that's how many bell ringers died in the First World War. Lord Bourne is Minister for Faith, and his government department is funding the project, and he joins us now. Lord Bourne, good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
Well, now, how does a bell ringing project come under your faith remit?
Oh, good question. Well, first of all, the whole government is obviously very much behind this, but I think very closely associated with faith, the idea of bell ringing, although it's open to people of certainly different faiths and people of no faith, and we are appealing successfully, I think, to a wide section of the community. But it's also, I think, something that contributes to integration of our communities, and particularly marking, as we are doing 100 years since the end of the First World War, the commemoration of the end of that dreadful conflict is something that's firmly within our department.
Well, it must be nice to be doing something to which no normal thinking person could object, I would have thought.
Well, you're right. I count myself very blessed and very, very happy. It's a great thing. I've met some terrific people in the course of my work generally, but in bell ringing in particular, I've met, and recently, some very, very awesome people who are very much committed to this. Recently, I was in Bamborough, which lost 6 people in the First World War who were bell ringers, and it's good to see that there was great support for it, and a lot of people and a lot of new recruits to whom I actually presented them with their badges. Devon, just to give the Devon figure, Devon lost 29 ringers in the First World War, so it does bring it home when you see that. And as you rightly say, people are getting behind it, and there's a lot of support for it.
It's interesting, isn't it, that in the midst of all that conflict and dreadful, just awful things that were going on, there were records kept as to who were bell ringers, and those.
Yes, very much. I saw the memorial in Bamborough, and Bamborough lost 6, which was the most in any community other than Eddington in Wiltshire that also lost 6. So it must have ripped the hearts out of many communities. It really does bring it home.
Indeed. Well, as we said, you're recruiting, so let's meet one of your recruits now. Lesley Oats is from Fennerton in East Devon. Lesley, good morning.
Hello, hi.
Hi, so
Hello,
why have you decided to do this?
I've always wanted to bell ring, but life got in the way, like children, work. And now I'm semi-retired. I saw the advert on Facebook, and I just thought, now's my opportunity. And a lovely fitting way to make tribute to all those people.
Well, there's a good reason for doing it, most certainly. And how are you getting on? I mean, have you mastered it yet? Because it's not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. I'm getting there. I can safely raise a bell and ring it, but they've just introduced what they call call changes, which is changing the place that you're in to make a different sound. And that's, it's a bit challenging. It's physically challenging and mentally challenging, and it sort of exercises your memory as well. So, but it's really good fun, and everyone's really supportive. And I've been blessed. They were funded to have. I almost had one-to-one tuition to begin with, along with some other people. There were 3 particular tutors that helped, and they gave up every Thursday night just to help us get to a place where we could safely ring a bell and join the tower.
Well, that's brilliant to hear, and I guess, Lord Bourne, from your point of view, that's exactly what you want to hear, isn't it?
It's terrific. I mean, congratulations to Lesley. She's got a lot further than I have. I must say that she's absolutely right how difficult it is. I sympathise with that, Lesley, from my very limited experience. Great tendency to want to look up towards where the bells are, which you shouldn't do. You should look straight ahead. A bit like when you're driving a car, you look down at the gearbox when you first start, don't you? Similar. I think it is pretty difficult, but there is great tuition provided as part of the scheme, and it is fun. I mean, that is the right word to describe it. I think I've seen that for myself and thought this would be a great thing to do when I have more time. I really, really do genuinely believe that.
And have you got all the volunteers you need, or are you still looking?
We're getting ever closer. I mean, the last word I heard, though I hear Leslie's probably got a better update than I have, was that we were close to 1,200. But it's certainly we're getting ever closer, and we need to get to that 1,400 figure by Armistice Day. But I'm very confident we will do.
Good. Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on that. It's a great story and very heartwarming. And last word from you, Lesley. Will you keep doing it after the end of this year?
Oh golly, yes.
Great.
I mean, for anyone that is living on their own, and if they want to because I've just moved to Fennerton, and that was another reason for joining. To get to know people. It's such a social activity. I mean, if you wanted to, you could go bell ringing nearly every day of the week, and lots of you make friends within those communities, obviously, and then quite often they go to the pub afterwards for a drink or a chat, or and they have competitions and social events. So it's a very social activity as well.
Wonderful. Lesley, thank you very much for joining us. Lord Bourne, to you too. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Now,